I love films about missing people. I find them really fascinating, really interesting, and when they're done well, they can be so gripping and compelling. So I was really keen to check out Lost Girls, which is the 2020 film directed by Liz Garbus, written by Michael Werwie, or at least a script by, based on the book by Robert Kolker. I haven't read the book. I didn't know it was a book until now. If you have read it, please feel free to let me know how it compares. I'm probably not going to read the book. And that's not because I hated the film, but I feel like it definitely wasn't as interesting as it could have been. And I think one of the main reasons for that is because I didn't really feel like the missing person was really explained enough. It can be difficult to get across the personality of a missing person in a film because, of course, they're not there, they're an absent character. But I've seen a lot of films where it's done very well, so I know that it can be done. But because I didn't really feel any connection to her, I kind of wasn't emotionally invested in finding where she was or what happened to her. It is told primarily through the perspective of Mari, who is her mother, and kind of the process that she has to go to. She doesn't have the best relationship with her daughter. You can tell that there's a strained relationship, or there has been over the years, which makes it really interesting because, let's face it, most stories of missing people involve a parent who worships the ground that that child walks on. And this is a very different dynamic, and I think that works really well. And the character of the mother is really fascinating. She's played by Amy Ryan, and I think she's definitely the glue that holds this film together. She's a beautifully performed character, really well developed, fascinating, interesting. Is it right that the mother is more interesting than the missing person? Well, yes, actually, because in a way it's kind of her story rather than the story of the missing girl. But you still kind of need to have some level of interest in the missing girl to be able to be emotionally invested in what's happening and to get on board with it. And I just found that for quite a lot of it, I wasn't really that interested in what happened to her. Sure, I was still interested in finding out, but not as much as I would have liked to have been. So I think the mother is definitely driving this forward. She's a really interesting character. With regards to the rate of development of this missing person case, it throws up some curveballs. It keeps you guessing. It keeps things going. There's definitely a strong element of suspense to it, and it does feel suspenseful. It definitely gets the atmosphere right, and that's something that I think works in its favour. So why am I not desperate to read the novel and find out more about the actual source material? I just felt like, as I said, the missing person wasn't that interesting to me, and I wasn't really that emotionally invested. The atmosphere was good, the mother character was interesting, and those were enough to keep me engaged. But not so much that I was kind of, if I had to stop watching it for some reason, I wouldn't have felt like I was missing out. So it's not brilliant, but it's not terrible. If you like films about missing people or that kind of atmosphere, I think you'll like it, you'll get something out of it. However, if you're not that bothered, I wouldn't say it's something to rush and see. It's going to be for some people, but not for others.